Hi Leo, Sun, Moon and Rising. Welcome to Ethernal Realms and welcome to your May reading. The first of the month itself, we have Pluto going retrograde. It entered into Aquarius at the very end of March, and it stayed in Aquarius for some time throughout the month of April, and now in May it's going retrograde. So we are already discovering some things that we want to readdress. We need to look into a little bit deeper. That's usually what happens during retrograde cycles of any planet going retro. We need to look inward and create transformations from inside out. In your case, this is taking place in your 7th house of partnerships. So there can be some people from the past that come around for resolutions of certain issues that just have not been cleared, or it can be revisiting old friends and connections and kind of seeing them in a different light, some new perspective coming to the surface. It can also be that you are reconsidering the requirements you have for relationships or the types of people that you want to be connecting with in the future. Pluto is kind of the planet of regeneration as well, so whatever you have been experiencing in the past which was not very pleasant, the retrograde phase allows you to work through those things to bring about healing and personal growth and transformation, thereby attracting people who are different in nature compared to the past. Okay, so very important over here. And by the way, it will retrograde back into Capricorn. It's not yet going there. We'll see that in the later months. But the point is it came into Aquarius, touched your relationship house, and now it's going back. Okay, now on the 5th, we have a lunar eclipse in the sign of Scorpio. And the sun is going to be in Taurus and the moon is in Scorpio. So this can bring about some major completion and endings, and we have been experiencing Taurus and Scorpio axis eclipses in 2022, and this is kind of a callback on those things, but it's not really working in the same way as it was before. Of course, it is still impacting the same houses, i.e. your 4th and the 10th house of home and family, and also your career and public sphere. Also, it can be talking about your ambitions and goals in life as well. So certain realizations could come about here, and by completion there can be also breakthroughs that come in. We will see what we get in the cards, but I will talk a lot more about this eclipse specifically in another separate video for your zodiac, so make sure you are staying tuned for that whenever it comes out. It will come out really soon actually, and this is kind of completing the first eclipse cycle of this year in 2023, because we had another solar eclipse previously on April 21st, and that was in the sign of Aries. So there is this is kind of two sides of the coin. Okay, so that began something, and now we are understanding the other side of the story with this particular eclipse. So if you've not checked out your zodiac's reading, so I would recommend you do so you get a more complete overview. Alright, so on the 7th now, we have Venus moving into Cancer. Over here, the planet of love, beauty, and harmony is taking on a little bit of a nurturing, emotional, and maternal role. You might find yourself feeling protective over your emotions and your loved ones. You are cultivating good relationships with maternal figures in your family, and are also experiencing the same from the other side as well. There's a lot of love and beauty, and very strong emotional connections can be made here. If you wish, you can of course attract people in this time, but this can also talk about spiritual growth, love, and expansion. So self-love is really high, and as a result of that we attract a lot of abundance in the external sphere as well. Since you're a Leo, Cancer will be in your 12th house, so I would say that you're experiencing more of a spiritual love. So whoever you're relating with, you are understanding them at a much deeper level. Your intuition is also going to be quite high, and there can be a lot of flourishing in terms of your spiritual expansion. Next, we have the second week. We have some aspects going on. I won't talk about them over here, but I will post about them in my community page. If you're interested, you can check that out. Okay, now finally on the 15th, we have Mercury going direct. It went retrograde on the 21st of April, and now on the 15th, it's going direct in the sign of Taurus. So this is awesome because we can go ahead with signing documents, we can make some promises and think about making progress. Basically, I would still recommend wait till the end of May to, you know, commit to very big details, but it doesn't mean that you can't do anything from this point on, because it's still moving through the shadow phase from the 15th till the 31st. So just make sure you're rereading things very carefully, or you're making sure with other people, confirming again, just to kind of get everything on track, basically. Now, this Taurus basically is in your 10th house, right? So this can be about your career. This can be talking about new job, new promotion, or if you have been already having some conversations with someone, relationships with authority figures and things like that, those discussions are moving forward in a more constructive manner. During retrograde phases, things could have been vague, unclear, like promises were not kept, or you kept rescheduling appointments, or things like that could have happened. But after the 15th, things that you notice are more promising in nature. And what makes it even better is that on the 16th, we have Jupiter moving into Taurus, into your career sphere, which indicates that you are experiencing some sort of boost or expansion. Jupiter is about optimism and growth as well, so it can magnetize job opportunities towards you if that's something you're looking for. And it also indicates you're achieving your goals, or you're finding the path to achieve them, you're creating systems, you're finding the resources to make your desires come to fruition, to reality. All right, so Jupiter is going to stay here in Taurus for quite some time, but because the Mercury turning direct and Jupiter interacting is just so close together, that I feel that there is kind of a joining forces type of quality here. So your mind and your optimism, your spiritual nature, all of these things are kind of working together to make something happen. So I would not be surprised if you have some manifestations coming true over here actually around this time, towards the end of May as well. Now on the 19th, we have a new moon in Taurus, and This is going to bring about a new beginning, again in your job and your goals sphere. It does not have to be about job, by the way. It's just what are your ambitions, what makes you happy, what are your goals, things like that. There is like a new beginning coming through here. There can be some new burst of inspiration, new ideas, and also resources that come around here. And this can be something that you have been wishing for quite some time. But of course, that's like not necessary. I say that only because Venus is in the 12th house. So it's sort of like as if by a mysterious force, things come to light or things come to fruition. Something of that sort is coming around here. But if you want to manifest something, this is a very nice day to do so. And the things to manifest would be material in nature or financial. Things that you value and you find very worthy are very strong manifestations. And within the next 6 months, it has a very strong chance of coming to reality. Okay, now on the 20th, we have Mars moving into your sign, Leo. So fiery planet in a fiery zodiac. It's quite happy. So over here, there can be a boost of self-esteem and confidence. The shadow qualities of this would be narcissism and overconfidence or competitiveness and so on, where, you know, you kind of have to go at it solo, and you might discourage, I don't mean you personally, but like with Mars and Leo, there is the chance to be like, nope, I don't need your help. Thank you very much. I got this. Okay. So that's like on one side, it's really great because you understand your own strength and what you can and cannot do and all of those things, and kind of up level your expertise. You're also very passionate and fiery. You're so ambitious and driven, and whatever it is that you want to create, you're like, I got this. I have the inspiration. I have the talent. I have the time, the skills, and everything else that you could possibly need to make it real. So let's go ahead and do it. You are also very confident and charismatic. So if you have any presentations that you need to make, any interviews that you have, you are very likely to make a strong impression and a very confident impression as well. For some people, it might seem intimidating to them. That's kind of a reflection on them, honestly. But it's also like situation dependent, of course. Like if you're meeting parents or something of your partner, then maybe a very strong bravado exterior is not the best way to go. But if you're going for like work presentations or like interviews or things like that, then of course, like you should be feeling confident enough to showcase your skills and talents, right? So situation specific over here. It's not a hard and fast rule of being a really good thing or a really bad thing. Okay, now on the 21st we have a new zodiac season. This is Gemini season. The sun moves into Gemini, and this brings about new bursts of communication, information, a lot of correspondence and networking, learning about new people, discovering new knowledge, information, learning new things, and just very, very excited to discover new facets and explore different topics in general. Okay, now in the last week we have a lot of more aspects going on, so I will not get into them over here. I will post about them in the community. If you're interested, you can check it out, and of course subscribe and hit the bell. You will be notified whenever the posts are up, and also the videos. Okay, so we have when I lean on the faith of the universe, peace becomes real. Very, very strong. And I see these two owls here, and this card does not usually come up, but whenever it does, it signifies a spiritual connection. This can be you and your soul, it can be you and your partner, it can be you and the universe itself. Just, it talks about the relationship dynamic that you have going on. And this is like spiritual and deep in nature, so it would not be like a new person that you meet and have a strong intensity conversation or something. This is a little bit deeper than that, but it talks about how support is on the way, and it's as though when Venus is in your 12th house, you're developing this sort of faith. There's a rise in optimism. You can also find yourself going, I know this to be true, I just feel it. I feel that this is going to work. I feel like I know where I'm going. And even though you don't have any proof, any tangible proof to back it up yet until a little bit later in the month, you still have that feeling and faith, and that optimism is kind of fueling this reality to come to fruition even more, actually. Okay, so you're leaning on the faith, you're trusting the process, you're doing your bit, and you just let it go at some point. There are like no expectations, there are no strings attached. You're like, when the time's right, the time's right. When it's time to meet my partner, I will meet this partner. There is no need to chase. There's no need to be, seeking something necessarily in order to attract it. Okay, this is in that very Zen space. All right. We have the first major highlight as bird flying. News is on the way. Of course it is. With, of course, Mercury going direct, the sun moving into Gemini, news is definitely on the way. There's some sort of announcement, some letter, or some just information comes to light. Okay, so that's something important. Then we have the second major highlight as the bag, which says we have something important, such as a new job or a raise. We talked about this, so that could be the news that's coming through. Okay, you hear about a job opportunity and that really excites you, and you're like, that kind of feels right. And it doesn't have to be that you're dissatisfied in a certain place and that's why you're looking for something new. It's just that whatever new opportunity is coming through, it's just very exciting and at the same time calming. You know it, you just know it. There's an inner sense of confidence. I can't get over that feeling. It's so overwhelming in your reading. Okay, then we have V with victory in some endeavor. Absolutely. So if you've applied for something or you are applying for things, there is definitely some sort of success coming through. If you're worried about some big presentation or some interaction that you're having with someone, this indicates there is success and resolution of such a situation, regardless of whether it's your career sector or the status that you have in society. Perhaps you're finishing up a degree and you're seeing that you have good grades and kind of your future is secure, or even in terms of love life, if that's something that is very important to you, and that's the journey we're talking about here. We'll get into the specifics in just a moment. So let's see your oracle cards. We have inflow with money. This is very Taurian in nature, of course, and it's so on the nose with the job, raise, and the money that I'm just going to say it. Like, if you're looking for a job or you want a different job, perhaps you want to establish your own business, that's also possible, by the way. This indicates that you have some financial flow coming through. The obstacles that were once there, I feel, are being either dissolved. Yeah, I'm gonna say dissolved. I think that's the correct word. I'm getting dissolved. Okay, we have you are magic, which is the magician energy. This is all about creative force. your manifestations coming to fruition. You are the creator of your own universe, so it's kind of giving you that boost of personal energy, especially when Mars comes into your sign. And all those new vibes that's coming through in the career sphere, it's as though you're recognizing your own power. Okay, and that kind of makes you feel a little bit responsible as well, to handle the power in a way that is suitable not only for you but for all the interconnected systems that you have. For example, if you are now a manager or a boss of some sort, then you're really excited about the opportunity, you're so confident in yourself, but you're also like you're also taking responsibility that no one goes through a bad experience while you are a boss, and that you have to pay attention to a lot more details and so on, right? But you're absolutely very skilled and talented. That's like, nobody's doubting that at all, not even you. And it's kind of up to you as to what you do with everything that you have. The Magician also indicates that you have a lot of resources around you. So they're all raw materials, and it's kind of up to your choice as to what comes out of those things. And you can mix and match in many different ways. So perhaps you can, for example, change up the system in some way. Make things a little bit more flexible, change the dynamic, something like that, where you can enhance productivity of yourself and other people, or, you know, maximize your creative spark and inspiration as well. Okay, then we have the sacred flow of yes. So if you're wondering yes or no, this is a yes. Also indicates that you are very much in flow. Like I said, the resistances are kind of dissolved. It's not really a bothersome influence anymore. Things are moving very smoothly in this month. You have support, you have people, you have finances, whatever it is that you need in order to make your life smooth. This month is doing that. There can be a breakthrough in that way, but I don't think it's feeling very harsh. It's more smooth, and it just so happens. All right, so your tarot cards, we have the first one as the Three of Swords. Yeah, see, this can be like difficult circumstances that have happened. Because it's the first card here, I'm going to say that it's something that is ongoing or has happened in the past. Like some disappointment, certain things that did not work, and have caused some sort of heartbreak over here. It can be relationship focused, but not necessarily. We have the Nine of Cups coming through, which is a wish fulfillment. Right after the Three of Swords, I would say this is a very healing and a cleansing experience as well. We have the Knight of Cups, or the Explorer of Cups in this deck. This absolutely indicates healing. Two Cups card after the Swords, the Three of Swords, it's like you're moving on from something that was a disappointment. And a wish is coming true that kind of proves to you that something was not meant for you, and good riddance. You know, I feel like you're very satisfied with whatever is coming through here. Let's say you applied for something during the retrograde phase and it did not work out, and you might have been disappointed, but now that you get this other opportunity, you're like, oh, thank goodness I did not take the other one, or that the previous one did not work out, thank goodness, you know, because I'm no longer the same. The things I desire are no longer the same, and I feel very differently about the past now. So, you know, good. Whatever happened is for the best. Very nice. Now, all the cups also indicates that if you were struggling with inspiration related to creativity, passion, sensuality, connecting with someone, this talks about making a deeper connection with someone. And I feel like you're finding someone in a romantic sense, or even in a friendship situation, with whom you can really relate to and connect with on a deeper level here. Okay, then we have the Page of Swords. This is the news arriving. And the final card we have is the Seven of Wands. Yeah, this is that, you know, raise or promotion. Some people might be intimidated. Some people are a little bit jealous. Different people have a whole bunch of different feelings about what you are achieving. But that does not change anything about what you actually are. It does not even affect your position in some way. You are a little bit aware, though, of what other people's thoughts might be, or how they might respond to this new placement. For example, your peers might still be in the same position, but you are getting a raise and now, or like you're getting a promotion and now you're their boss. So that might be a little bit uncomfortable. But at the same time, you know you've worked hard, you know you deserve it, you know you're absolutely capable. And even your peers have faith in you, in your capacity. But at the same time, it's like the dynamic is now different, right? So that can be something over here. But it can also be symbolizing how you are being very mindful of the power that you carry, and therefore you want to utilize it in a very responsible way. You also have to have some sort of boundary established here to make sure that, you know, people are not talking to you like they used to, or that you have to establish yourself as a leader, or whatever the case is for you. You're just very selective about the type of behavior you're willing to take and not. And this applies for like career or not, right? Now, the Page of Swords is being very curious, inquisitive, learning something, digging very deep. You can also be getting into your feelings quite a bit here, kind of having this investigative quality that you want to learn more about what makes you emotionally connected and satisfied. Because many times, you know, we can just cycle through relationships, or even in the one relationship, we can cycle through the same issue many times. And that's because we ourselves don't really understand or know what exactly we're looking for. What would be a satisfying conclusion to that particular situation? So this talks about, okay, let's pause for a moment and really think about this. Let's dig deep. Let's ask the right questions in order to find the right answers to the situation. If that means we read new information or discuss with people who have gone through similar situations, or whatever the case is, we're going to go through that problem and we're going to deal with it. Okay, so there is a kind of an objective quality coming through here, even if we're talking about some deeper emotional connections here. Now, the Nine of Cups can talk about some manifestations that were in the past, that were made in the past, can come through. And if you've not made any manifestations, this is a very nice time to do so, because you will experience the rewards quite quickly. Okay. I was saying 6 months down the line, but I think it's going to come much sooner, actually. What else? We have 3 and 3, which talks about support. We have 11 and 1, which talks about support. So you have plenty of that going on in the month of May. What else can we see? In terms of finances, it's your ideas and your creative spark, the way that you showcase yourself, that is going to bring in the finances. Definitely there's a lot of flow, like I said, with all of this water. There's just easy flowing energy. The fish is coming through multiple times, and that talks about prosperity and abundance as well. And birds is talking about the freedom. The owls talk about intuition. Absolutely, your intuition is on point. You might even have a feeling that something might not work, or you like, for example, and by the way, I'm very strongly feeling this is something of the past. Maybe you've forgotten about it in the current sphere, but it's still somewhere in the back. Like, for example, you're applying for something or you're making a connection, but in the back of your head, you're like, I hope it's not going to be like that experience that I did not enjoy. You know, that little voice that is in the background. So it's not in the background anymore, because it's coming to the forefront and you're digging deep into that. Also, 7 of Wands indicates that you're being very appreciated and that you have a very compassionate and empathetic way of presenting yourself. You will also find that you have a lot of support, and you don't have to be nervous, or that you don't have to do everything by yourself necessarily. Of course, there's a lot of responsibility you are taking, but I feel you're doing so by yourself, not that other people are forcing you. I think it's like, hi, here's your raise, here's your promotion, you have a new role now. If you need help, you can call, you can, email me or something like that. You're like, okay, sure, thanks, but I would prefer to do it my way. It's sort of that dynamic. You're absolutely very charming in this month as well, and you have a very critical mind. So if you have to read through documents or kind of find a good, like, let's say you're meeting people, you're likely to get a very accurate gauge of what this person is like and whether they're suitable to you or not, because your priorities are very clear, and also you're more aware of what you really desire in life, in this particular phase at least. Okay, there can be an element of, this might not be for everyone, but there's an element of, I don't want to keep doing what I've been doing, so there's kind of a I'm looking to settle down type of quality. whether that is like, you know, profession, like I want to find the thing that I'm really passionate about, and I want to settle down in that particular track and keep going in a streamlined manner. Because Leo, you're a fixed sign, so you kind of function best when there's not too many changes. You like that stability, or it's rather your element. And when you have that stability in general, that's when you're like, okay, now I'm going to make the changes. I'm going to take on the wheel and I will decide what needs to change, what needs to go, what is creative. You're more about having the platform stable, but then working on the changes and dynamism yourself. You bring in the excitement, right? So I feel like the external situations, whatever has been outside of your control, is stabilizing a lot this month in order for you to be able to explore that, you know, individual expression basically. Okay, so let's see your astro dice. Leos, please, in the month of May. Getting to know someone is as well very possible. You might like ask very inquisitive questions. The other person might also ask, and that's kind of very exciting as well. That, you know, someone's really curious about you. You get to talk about different topics. Even if it's like logical and you're connecting with the mind, that's also fun. But then also you can talk about some deeper emotional concepts as well. We have Mars, Pisces, and the third house. All right, so the Pisces is that spiritual connection and that intuitive knowing. You might be pulled in different directions because the intuition says so. You just have a feeling and you're responding to that immediately. It's kind of instinctive, the type of people you relate to. Let's say you're moving to like a new company, okay, or a new institution. And now you have a whole different team, a whole different group of people that you're collaborating with. So the first person that you approach, that's kind of intuitive. It's a little bit instinctive. From just the surface, you're gauging whether you're vibing with that person or not really, right? So kind of take note of who you're interacting with and how those interactions are going. Because it might seem like a very cursory meeting in the sense that maybe you talk to them to ask the directions to the washroom or something like that. It might be very vague and random, but it can lead to something more. Like you might encounter them again. You didn't know about it then, but they were actually going to be your team member. You know, something of that sort can happen. A little bit of a synchronistic situation coming through. And we have 3 coming up again, which talks about a lot of support and guidance as well. Mars is that activity, courage, confidence, all of those things we talked about here, but it's showing up in a very charismatic, charming, very compassionate and empathetic way as well. I think you're very determined to, first of all, make a good impression, but also take your responsibilities seriously, create a very nice vibe. And when I say seriously, it doesn't mean like doom and gloom. You just sit there and do your job and then leave. Not really, but you just want to be deliberate and the best that you can be. I think that's what's coming through. The best that you can be. Your mind is in gearing towards forming good connections and creating value, creating very good vibe in general, whichever space you're in and whatever connections you make here. Okay, yes, so that's what I have for you, Leos. Thank you so much for being here. I really hope the reading resonated and that it helps you out. Let me know your thoughts. If you want a personal reading, you can reach me via Etsy. The link is in the description box and the comment below. I will see you some other time. Until then, take care. Bye.